Hey, I'm Johnie Hooker, and this is my first video. I'm going to try and become a content creator. So this is it, and already there's one of the things I'll probably come up with issues of at some stage in my video creation. And look what we have behind us. Can you see it? Don't know. Anyway, there's a chemtrail. Big ugly freaking chemtrail getting delivered up there. Anyway. Yeah, I want to start talking about the importance of dreams, amongst other things, and our health, and stuff like that. And certain things. Beautiful day, and they have to spoil it with that. Anyway. Yeah, dreams are one of the most utterly important things we need to realise in our life and start putting much more attention towards them. And the way I became a dream looker-atterer is over 30 years ago. I was depressed and I had a family and a business and all that, but I got depressed and I was just running down the same roads as my dad did, and I drank a lot, smoked a lot, took a lot of drugs, not pharmaceuticals but other crap, and then one day cracked and had a breakdown and threw my business away and had a year off or something. Then started working at a plant nursery and just taking it easy. And I used to listen to this lady, Quentin Watt, who was a dream interpreter on the radio. She was on Triple J. And it's really cool. Like, people would ring in and tell her their dreams, and she'd interpret them, and they're always spot on, you know. They always said, "Oh, that's so right," blah blah blah. So she had a book, so I went. My ex bought it for me for my birthday or something, and I was only like 28, something like that. 60 now, and so I started interpreting my own dreams. And I never used to believe in anything beyond the physical. Even when I was interpreting my dreams, I didn't really believe in anything beyond the physical. And used to fight away all the religious crap and everything, which maybe I'll do again now. But I just started listening to my dreams and realising that they talk to me and interpreting them. And her book wasn't very comprehensive, so this was before internet, so I've got other books, big thick ones with lots of dream meanings in them. One was Pamela Bell's 10,000 Dream Interpretations, and you just look them up and puzzle it all together. It's literally a puzzle. Kind of cool and fun. And even in the Bible, which I'll get onto, that's another story, it says God talks in riddles, dark sentences and parables and stuff. That's for another video. And oh, maybe it wasn't a chemtrail, it was a contrail. It's disappeared. Yeah, and So I had a few prophetic dreams, and I've had tons of them now, but and it helped me get out of my depression. And then I split up with my ex when I was about 30, 31. Gave up smoking and drinking and everything. That's another story. And just kept listening to my dreams. I was going through a kind of weird spiritual thing, and learned a lot over the last 30 years about dreams and spirituality and all sorts of crazy stuff. Well, it's not crazy, it's actually real and reality. And now I feel like I want to share it all. So I'm going to start doing some vids on it all. Sun's on the glaring on the water into my face, but anyway. Yeah, and there's a passage in the Bible, I'm not sure which one, I think it's Job 33, where Elihu says, you say that God doesn't answer your words, but he does. He comes to you in dreams and visions of the night while you're laying on your bed, but you do not listen. If there be an and on your sick bed as well. So our sicknesses are telling us things as well, which that's another story. And it carries on to say, if there be an interpreter among you, then he'll show you what is right, something like that. I'll put it up in the video. And same with sicknesses. Even the New Testament says they rejoice in their sicknesses because it's telling them something. And once, 30 odd years ago, I took my son to the doctors because he was really bad, like had some weird flu or something. So we took him there, and there's just all sick people everywhere, and we're waiting like 20 minutes, and it's just a crappy scene. And we both turned to each other at exactly the same time and said at exactly the same time, let's get out of here. So we just hopped up and walked out. And in the morning, he woke up and he was fine. And I went to work. I was helping the dude plant cherry trees, cherry farmer guy. And I told him that. And he said, oh, I've got a book you need to see. I'll show you when we get back to the house, after planting 1 million cherry trees and working our ass off. So I'm knackered. We get back to the house that afternoon, and he hands me this book and says, this is what I want to show you. And it was called The Body is the Barometer of the Soul, So Be Your Own Doctor, by Annette Noontil, she's dead now, but she lived in Ringwood in Victoria, which isn't that far from where I live, well, an hour drive or whatever. And so I bought the book. They're only $20, and I haven't been to the doctor since. So once we closed the door to that doctor, a new door opened, and it's all about, you just look up your ailment in the book. It's kind of like others, like there's another one, Inga Segal, Secret Language of the Body, and who's that other lady? Oh, there's another one, my sister's got the book. I'll think of it later, but yeah, that kind of thing. And it's your emotional link to the disease. And so you look up the disease and it kind of tells you what's going on in your head, and you need to change it, what you're doing wrong. And that's what dreams do. Like I've been told, I have dreams where I've dropped food in particular foods, and it means you got to drop it and don't eat it anymore. Now I pretty much don't eat anything apart from organic grains and beans and stuff. I live on bread and water, distilled water, big fat brackets, and all food at the supermarket's poison. And yeah, so haven't been to the doctors, just been using that book in my dreams and becoming independent of the lies and all this in the system that's out there at the moment, or that we've been taught to believe. And so I want to make a bunch of videos, hopefully if people are interested in this stuff, that will document how I've learnt how to interpret my dreams and what the Bible says about dreams and illness and sickness, and hopefully help people to get independent of the corrupt existing system that we're led to believe is there to help us, but takes us further and further away of taking responsibility of our own health and life and everything else. We have it all within us. All we have to do is acknowledge it and start befriending our own inner wisdom. And as you know, the more friendship grows, the more deeper and trusting it becomes, and the more you can rely on your own inner self and or God, or whatever you want to call it, and be your own friend and your own source of wisdom and encouragement and everything else that a lot of other people will just beat you down for, or tell you lies, or when you trust your own self, it's all true. It's awesome. It's the best way to live, instead of relying on all this other crap they force into your face. Well, they don't force it, we just lap it up like hungry dogs. Yeah, one of the first things I ever did when I started thinking about, is there a God, and I was listening to my dreams, I was probably about 32, so 28 years ago. I said, I used to wake up with the alarm clock in the morning, and I freaking hated the alarm clock. It used to make me hit the roof, and it's just so annoying way to wake up. So I said, if you're a really real God, I'm going to throw my alarm clock away, and you're going to wake me up every morning when I have to wake up. And ever since I did that, I've never used an alarm clock. I've never ever slept in ever again. And even now, I start at 7 o'clock at work. I get up at 5. I like playing guitar and taking my time and eating brekkie and whatnot in the morning. And there's one day sometimes when in winter, when it's dark at 7, one of my customers says, "Oh, can you come in at 7:30? So I do. And in those mornings, I wake up at 5:30. No alarm clock, just like wake up at 5:30 instead of 5. So that was very encouraging. And you're putting your faith, like God says, you know, you gotta walk in faith. And that's what that means. And when you close the door to trusting, putting your faith in some doctor or, you know, some outer manly physical thing, it's taken the faith away of what we're really supposed to put our faith in. So the more you stop putting your faith in certain things, the better that friendship and relationship grows with God or your inner self, whatever you want to call it. As Jesus says, you know, God is within you, heaven is within you, so it's in you. So yeah, that was one of the first things I did. And God, when all this stuff started flooding in, this crazy awakening or spiritual journey or something happened when I split up with my ex. All these undeniable things started happening. It was just insane. Well, it wasn't insane, it was just so good. Like, and it made me rethink everything and my whole being and everything. And there was one instance where I look at this place, sorry, it's freaking beautiful. Me and my mates used to live down here as kids practically. We'd hitchhike down here and just surf all day, and no surf today. It's beautiful and calm. Like a mill pond out there. No waves. And anyway, I had rates to pay for my house, and I didn't have much money because I wasn't working. I was single parenting. I worked a little bit, but not much. And I had a lot of stuff, and the rates were like, you know, say $1,000.50, and I can't remember what it was years ago, 30 years ago. And so I decided to have a garage sale. And then that night, when I decided, I had this dream saying, just take offers. Don't put prices on anything. So I did that, and some stuff, like I had this brand new pair of R.M. Williams boots, and the lady offered me $5. And at the time, they were worth like $250. They're like $400 now plus. And I'm like, oh, I didn't want to sell them to her for $5, but I listened to my dream and I just did it. So she got a freaking bargain of the century. But anyway, what goes around comes around, you know. And then, but other stuff that I would have chucked out, they were giving me $10 for and stuff. So it all worked out. And at the end of the day, I counted all the money, and you wouldn't believe it. It came to $1,000.50, the exact figure of my rates bill. And I'm like, I was freaking out because I didn't believe in anything beyond the physical around this point. And when stuff like this started happening, I was like, oh my God, God can see what I'm doing, you know. I was doing heaps of crazy stuff, and I still do, but I know God's watching me now. So I just do it in front of him, and well, what can I do? And but at the time I didn't think anyone could see me doing anything. And when I realised that, hey, God knows what I'm up to, well, that was pretty freaky. And I just felt like I was exposed and all this stuff. And so many other weird things happened, but that's a whole nother story. But don't know really where to go now. But where will I go from there? Oh, just other things that happened. When I stopped drinking, all my mates and that, like, it was just a really strange time in life when I moved. It was like I hopped into another paradigm or something, and my mates hated it and bagged me out for it, and I don't know, I had to let go of everybody and just walk on my own. And yeah, lots of crazy stuff happened, but it was interesting times. Don't really want to go back to all that. Well, I don't have to. But yeah, dreams are so important. There's a lot more to tell you how important they are in the Bible, and I never used to read the Bible, and I'd been interpreting my dreams for 17 years and still not. I was believing in stuff beyond the physical, but I never knew what was in the Bible. And I'd done a whole lot of this other spiritual work and stuff that made me know that there was definitely stuff beyond the physical. I went to meditation classes and started doing all sorts of readings and healings and all that kind of stuff, and that was mind-blowing. And you know, it's like I was living on the other side for, I don't know, 10 years, half in this world and half in the spiritual world, and I'd feel people's pain, and I just knew what people were thinking, and I don't know, it was really weird. And so anyway, I started listening to the Bible. I worked at this place where I was mowing and on tractors a lot and stuff. I wonder what the Bible's about. And so I started listening to it, and I just got an audio book and used to listen to it with headphones while I was mowing or in the tractor or whatever. Got sick of listening to music. And to my surprise, it was from the front of the Old Testament to the back of the New Testament. It's all about God comes to us in our dreams. So it was very surprising to me that I'd learned all this and been practicing it for 17 years, hardcore, and that's what the Bible is really all about. But churches don't tell you this stuff because they're all corrupt. And I actually went to church. My dreams and God or whatever told me I had to for a while, and it made me realise that how corrupt it was, because when I started trying to teach people in the church about dreams and stuff, I got crucified. For not literally, but they got all shitty, and a reverend, oh man, it wasn't good. So that was the end of my church time, and I was a model church person, you know. I went in there and I paid my tithes, done everything I should, and really good boy, and then that all happened, and then it was just ugly. So I never went back to church again, which was a good lesson, because I've learned that, hey, I don't know about if there's any good ones, but I don't know, they all seem pretty sus to me. And yeah, so obviously the church wants to keep control of their stuff and don't want you to become independent either, because that's what dreams really do for you. They make you independent, and they help you with your health. They help you with realising what you're feeling, They help you in so many aspects of your life, and everything. And so does your health. That's another part of it all. And if you know how to interpret that, get Annette Newton's book or one of the others that vibe with you or whatever. They'll help a heap as well. It's quick going to the doctors and just stop it. As soon as you shut one door, a more positive door opens. It's like if anyone's afraid of leaving work because they have to, do something they don't want to, that's not it's against their knowing system or belief system or whatever, you just leave, because another door will open and it'll be so much better than where you're at if you're being asked to compromise your knowing or beliefs or whatever you want to say. I like to say knowing, because belief is just a belief. Knowing is knowing. Like, I know dreams work. I know your health is a part of your system that helps you work out what's wrong with yourself. I know these things because I've practiced it for the last 30 years and proved it to my own self. And I'm not trying to prove it to anyone else. All I'm trying to do is start doing some videos on this so other people can work out what I've worked out without maybe quicker than I've been able to do it. So I suppose I'm just giving it back with what I've learned. And how you going? And so that's where I'm coming from. I just love it down here. I haven't been down here. I used to surf down here all the time. I thought I'd surf my whole life until I died, and I bought a guitar to play in between surfs, and then God's like, what are you doing, wasting your life away in dreams? And so I stopped surfing. I wasn't getting any better either. I used to be pretty good, but then I just wasn't progressing, and it was frustrating, and it's such a hustle. Surfing's such a hustle. I was a wave pig and always hustled for a wave, and you got to hustle if you want a wave, otherwise you just have to sit on the outside and wait for crap. But if you want a good wave, you got to hustle on the inside and get them. And anyway, so yeah, I just used to love coming down here, and I haven't been down here much at all. I've just been working hard and listening to my dreams and just doing all that stuff, and playing guitar a hell of a lot. Probably put some guitar on my videos as well, write a few songs and stuff, so I'll probably use them in my videos. And now I feel like I've just got to start making some videos. So for the last 30 odd years, 30 odd years I've been learning about all this stuff. And then for the last probably 10 years I've been practicing guitar and going hardcore with that, and still learning about this stuff. I've had a lot of really cool prophetic dreams and things that have got me out of some bad situations, and I've adopted this other language that hopefully that wind's not too much. Anyway, let's see. That I might do some videos on and share, because that's pretty cool. That's about where your itches and ailments are, help you know. It's sort of it's blended in with The Body is the Brother of Soul book, but of expanded on that way of teaching and adopted a bit more from that. Well, it wasn't from that, it was from source, from God. And it's normally an awesome wave out that point there, honeysuckle. And a big bommy out the back that's really good break. Yeah, so I don't know, if you're interested, stick around and because I'm going to make a ton of videos, I think. Depends on how this turns out. This is my first one and I don't even know how to use the cameras and everything yet, so I've got to get some sort of software program to make them all in and all that, and I haven't done that yet. I've been looking at them. This is the first one, so excuse any crap that's in it or how shaky it is or whatever, or exposure and all that, because I've just bought this thing, thrown it on auto, stuck it on a stick, and here I am. Yeah, I don't know. Also want to talk about diet and how my diet's changed from being a mega carnivore meat connoisseur. I used to buy big fat cryovacs full of meat and age them just right, barbecue them just right, and all that sort of stuff. I freaking used to love it. Didn't eat that many veggies, just ate meat and maybe a few veggies. Just a lot of junk. And to now only eating organic grains and beans and lentils and drinking distilled water in big fat brackets. Distilled water, very important. And living off bread and water, pretty much that's all I eat now. It's taken me a long time to get to that, with many falling off the trucks and food binges and rebellion. And I remember I was eating pretty good except for bananas. I used to love bananas. That was the last sweet thing in on my repertoire sort of thing at one stage. And then I had a dream. I always said to God, oh, I hope I don't have a dream I drop bananas. And then one day I had a dream I dropped bananas. And I'm like, oh my God. And I rebelled so hard. Hello. Went on this food binge for 6 weeks. And I put on 20 kilos. And I ate so much crap. Like, I didn't eat anything, any of my grains or anything for 6 weeks. I ate stuff I hadn't eaten for 10, 20 years. Like, oh, not 20, but 10, maybe 15 years. Like, I hadn't had like McDonald's or anything like that for 12 to 15 years. And meat pies with sauce and lollies and chips, and I'd go to the supermarket and buy a 4-pack of Magnum ice creams and freaking sit down the beach and eat 4. And sometimes I woke up and I was vomited. Like, I'd made myself sick maybe 2 or 3 times in that 6 weeks, and I probably screwed all my intestines. I don't know what I did, but anyway, and I put on 20 kilos. My jeans were all tight on me, and some wouldn't fit. And I'm like, oh, I got to stop this. So I stopped it, and it took me 6 weeks to get back to my normal weight. And everything's got so much sodium in it. It's just like my ankles were puffed up. Oh man, that was a bad way. But anyway, that was probably, I don't know, 5 years ago or something now, 6 years ago. And so I went back to my good diet, and over time that diet's become better and better, and it's all organic grains and beans and lentils and stuff, and I've, maybe once every couple of months I'd eat pie and sauce, veggie pies, like cauliflower and broccoli pies or something like that, but it's still no good. Pastry is just the worst thing you can eat. Just everything in the supermarket's full of sodium and soybean and just poison shit. And morning. Yeah, so yeah, I want to talk about that and do videos on how to cook all that, and where I get my stuff from. If you live in Australia, it's not easy to get all the time, and it's pretty pricey, but it's not. Like I buy a year's worth at once, and it only costs me, I don't know, $1,300 for a year's worth of food. And all together I buy distilled water. I don't make my own, because that's another thing. I had a dream, because my sister said, oh, you should drink distilled water, and I blew her off for a while, and then I started looking into it, and I thought, maybe I should. And then I had a dream of this, and she bought me a distiller, and I didn't like distilling the water, and I'd distill it and it wouldn't come out zeros, like wouldn't come out pure anyway. There is distillers that you can get that come out pure, like $1,000, and you've got to have carbon filters and shit for them too. And so I kind of went off the idea, and then I had a dream that I was taking this bottle off the shelf, a 5 litre bottle off the shelf in a supermarket, and it had a blue and yellow label, and I looked everywhere, because I used to only shop in organic shops and stuff, and I didn't go to Coles or Woolies or anything. I used to, when I still ate fruit and veg, I went to Coles and Woolies. I went to Coles and Aldi and other fruit shops and stuff, but I never ever went to Woolies. I just had this thing about Woolies, I don't know why. I never went in there. So I looked everywhere and I couldn't find this bottle. And then the last resort, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go frickin' Woolies now. So I walked into Woolies, I walked up the water aisle, and lo and behold, there's this bottle sitting on the shelf, and it only had two rows, 4 deep, 2 wide of this water. And all the other waters had 1,000,000 rows and you know, plenty deep. And so I'm like, oh my god, there's the thing. So my dream was right. Anyway, I took it home. First thing I did was rip the cap off, stick it in a cup and stick my tester into it. Came up zeros. So pure, it's the only one in supermarkets. I tested all of them in the supermarket. There's another one that sometimes comes up zeros and sometimes comes up 0.1, which would be my second bet. So I'm just changing hands. Yeah, that would be my second bet. But I always get this one's called Refresh. I'm not affiliated or anything with them, but I'll give them a clap, because they do good, and it's cheap. It's only $4.80 or something for 5 litres. No, so it's not even $1 a litre. Yeah, so there's all that food and stuff and things I want to share and do videos on, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, what everyone else is talking about, and like chemtrails, I watch them every day. I live on the Mornington Peninsula, and you know, everyone I work with I've shown, and now they know about them, and it's like it spoils your day in a way, because it can be this beautiful blue day, and then you see a few planes going through the sky spreading out this crap, and then all of a sudden it's cloudy and you're breathing it in, and it makes the air electrified with toxic aluminium and crap and everything. And so I don't really want to get into all that, because there's enough people talking about it, but if I see one while I'm doing a video or something like that, I'll definitely have, you know, put words about it and that. And same with all pharmaceutical crap, you know, just don't take any of it. Just give up the doctors and that world altogether, you know, and start being independent and looking after your own health and being responsible for your own health, and you'll have much better life, and it's so much more satisfying than getting the run around by doctors and all the places you have to go and tests you have to take and stuff they put into your veins and all that. I tell a lie, I have been to the doctors once in the last 30 years, and I cut myself on a bit of rusty tin, building this shed out of second-hand tin at a job I was at, and I was working for a big company, and I had to go get stitches, and they said, oh, you got to go. I was just going to bandage it up, and they said, oh, you have to go because, you know, if something happens, then we're liable and all that. So I was still a bit naive back then. That was a long time ago. So I went, got a few stitches, and they wanted to do all this surgery on my tendons and all that crap. And this is another story, but anyway. And I used to fit windscreens, and I cut myself all the time, and like really bad. And when I was young, I cut across the top of my hand and all the veins and everything across the top of my hand on this big ass belt sander that like went flying around, and my hand went up and hit the belt, and blood just covered the wall, and my boss just grabbed me and ran me up to his wife's freezer and stuck my hand in the freezer, and that all went red because it was all frosty. Anyway, the doctor just stitched it up. Oh, he said, oh, do you want to go back to work? And I'm like, oh, do you think I can? I was only a kid, I was 16 or something, and so he goes, oh, we'll stitch you up without an anaesthetic then. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he stitched it up, it didn't even really hurt, and I went back to work. None of this freaking tendon stuff or anything, and my hand was fine, and I cut myself so many times fitting windscreens with razor blade knives, you know, snap off blade knives and stuff. I like gouged my hands with them, and I'd just bandage them up and keep on going. And if it was really bad, I'd take a few days off and let it heal and then get back to work. And so I told them, no way, not going there, just stitch it up. And then they said, oh, you'll have to have a tetanus. I'm like, I don't want a tetanus. And they said, you'll have to have one. It's for, you know, company policy and all that. I'm like, oh. So I had one. And then that night I get home, I had a dream that I'd been poisoned. So I'm like, oh man, no more of that ever again. So I'm kind of glad it happened, because now I know for sure that you just don't let that stuff happen to you, you know, especially these days. Man, they got all sorts of crap in them now. I mean, they had all sorts of crap in them then, but now they got double the sorts of crap. And so it's so interesting, you know, what your dreams can tell you, and the whole medical system, they just make up crap. I got a mate who I taught fit windscreens, and he was like gun on guitar. Like I used to envy the crap out of him because he was so good on guitar. He could just play anything, and you know, all the cool songs, he could play them really well. Great voice and all that stuff. And I was just too lazy to be playing the guitar, but now I can sort of play my own style and that. And he was the same. He'd cut himself and he just bandaged it up, and he still fits screens now. He'd just bandage it up and get back to work. But this one particular time, it's only a few years ago, he cut his finger and he went to the freaking doctors, and it was one of his cord's finger. I think it was this one, I think. And so instead of taping it up and keeping on going, he went to the doctor, and they stitched it up, and they made him get that stupid tendons operation, and it screwed his finger. Like, he can't bend it or nothing anymore. If he had just taped it up, it would have been fine, no doubt. And so he can't bend it, and it makes it really hard for him to play guitar now. And he used to be gunning. I think he's lost a bit of interest now because he has to like physically grab it and push it to get it into a lock position, and so it's just a load of crap. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's times when you kind of need someone to help you if something really bad happens and you get bitten by a shark or something like that. But in the interim, I think if you're listening to your dreams and your health and stuff, none of that crap's going to happen to you, hopefully, you know. And if it does, like I had a dream once where there used to be this kid at school who was a mate, and well, sort of a mate, but he'd cork me in the leg with his knee all the time. Well, not all the time, but now and again, and it freaking hurt. And then one day I had a dream, this is like 40 years later or more, I had a dream that he came up and corked me in the leg. And then that day I went to work and I was chainsawing a tree, and I had him a pole saw, and I was chopping this big limb off up high, and the limb came down and sort of landed on the ground, and the end of it corked me in the leg. Just exactly how that kid would cork me, and it felt exactly the same as how that kid corked me. So, you know, it just proves that there is a force that knows what's going to happen even before it happens. And there was another time where I bought a unit that I live in now, and the garden when I got there was shocking. It was just like, I like clean gardens and good looking gardens, and this one was just overgrown with grass and all the trees were dead up the driveway. It was just bad. So I wanted to take over the gardening job, and eventually I did, and I got rid of all the crap and cleaned it all up and planted some new trees and stuff in there. And the unit number one, which is the front unit, was this really dirty garden. And everyone else kept their gardens nice, and the driveway looked nice now, but their garden, which was the front unit when you come into the place, was just crap. And so I was going to clean it up and just do it, just for the hell of it, because it was just really bad. And then I had a dream that I was driving out the driveway, and I looked down to my left where the garden was, and it was clean. And this really beautiful garden was there. So I held off on doing it. And then 2 weeks later, they got professionals in, because they were putting the place on the market. They got professionals in to rip out all the old garden and put in a new garden. So it would look like such a dick if I had speaking of chemtrails, there's one there. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, yeah, it would look like such a dick if I had have done the garden and they'd already got these guys sorted out to do it. So there's been other times where I've had a dream where there's all these European wasps chasing me, and then I go to work and I'm hedging this hedge or something, and sure enough, it's got a bloody wasp nest. They're all running around in there and stuff. And so, you know, they can help you in a lot of ways, and not just health and everything else, but just in decision making and all that. I mean, I still make bad decisions, but more and more now I slow my decisions up and try and wait for some sort of guidance to guide me in what I'm doing. And sometimes I've gone against the guidance and it never works out any good. When you wait and go with it, it tends to work out quite well, you know. But when you go against it, it's like gut feeling as well. I mean, some people have got really intense good intuition that might not. I mean, yeah, I think, you know, and if you don't dream, and you just have to ask for it and start wanting to, because the only reason you don't dream, because Jesus says, you know, people who don't hear or listen, or it chokes the word of God when you got too much going on in your physical life and you're thinking about all the problems and everything else in your life, that it chokes the word of God. And I believe that your dreams are the word of God, and they're there to help you and do what they're supposed to do. So if you don't dream, you've probably got a shit ton going on in your life and you're too busy thinking about all that and just blowing off your dreams. And if you want to dream and get back into being connected again, you just got to ask for it. Throw your alarm clock away, say, God, I want to listen to you now, give me dreams please, and you know, start a relationship with your inner self and your inner guidance and so-called God, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, and go Point Leo now. This is a pretty long video. Suicide Point, good wave out there too. Yeah. Yeah, so really helpful and important to listen to your dreams and your health. But I'll do more comprehensive videos on all of that in the coming time, and hopefully build a bit of a channel where more and more people will sort of you know, want to be and learn what I've learned and share and have input, because I'm open to anything. I do listen to a few other people, not about this stuff, but about other stuff that's opened me up to other things. But it's just so surprising, and I never would have dreamed a million years that was true. But I believe it all now, so-called conspiracy crap. But, well, it is a conspiracy, but it's not a theory, it's a conspiracy against us, the people, and there's hundreds of them. And it took me a long time to accept it all and realise what this world really is and how it really works. And well, I don't claim to know all the answers, but I do claim that it ain't what I used to think it was. It's a rock pool over here we used to swim in when we were kids. When the tide was out and there was no waves, just going to go over to it. Haven't been here for years. My mum and dad are actually sprinkled off this point, their ashes. Yeah, so lots to talk about, lots to share. And I love to hear other people's experiences with dreams and health and all that sort of stuff. That's the rock pool we used to hang out in as kids. Yeah. So yeah, all interesting. Probably long enough, I don't know. Opening video. Just maybe I'll head back this way now. Been walking a while. There's a beautiful moon up. That's another thing. Here we go, another subject. The moon. Have you ever thought why the moon's transparent? Like, you probably won't see it. You won't be able to see it probably in this. I'll try, but if you can. But during the day, I don't know, is it there? Can you see it somewhere? I don't know. Camera's following me. But anyway, during the day, it's always the same colour as the sky behind it, apart from the white bit. So it's transparent. And if the sky is, it's always that colour. And at night, it's black kind of at the back. You know, whatever the colour of its back surrounding is. I'm going to have light problems here, but anyway, it's my first video and I'll check it all out when I get home and see what it looks like. Yeah, and it just appears to be, I might walk up into the shade a bit. It just appears to be closer than it is because there's never any atmosphere in the way of it. I mean, well, today it's pretty clear, but if you look behind me, I don't know if you can see, oh, there's a chemtrail up on my left hand ear there. Yeah, you look at the atmosphere on the background land behind me and how some you can see clearer than others, right? And that's only a few k's across, you know, a few miles away. And the moon's supposed to be, I don't know, thousands of miles away, and yet there's no atmosphere blocking its you know, view. It's always clear as clear to see, unless there's a cloud in front of it. But there's never any atmospheric whatever blocking it, only cloud. And it's just weird to me. And the fact that you can focus on it with a good camera or even a pair of binoculars, but a good camera or a good telescope, you can focus on it. And if that was like all these thousands of miles away, you wouldn't be able to bring it into focus. There's no way. It's just impossible. So there's a question, and that takes you to another whole can of worms, which I guess a lot of you know where I'm going, but I'm not going to get into that because there's enough of that said. But I'll probably bring reference up to it in videos and stuff, and yeah, like, you know, how flat it looks behind me. And all those facts. Yeah, look at that big ugly chemtrail. A couple of fishermen down here. Yeah, so interesting. The moon, so-called, I think it's closer. It just seems like it's there. Same with the sun. That's closer than we think. It's not what they tell us it is. Not millions of miles away, or we're not spinning like crazy. We're just, man, look at this water. I mean, if we were twirling around at all that, what they tell me we are, it's like, yeah, right. It's just like a mill pond out in the middle there. Nothing's moving. No motion sickness. It's all good. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up there and talk about all this other stuff in a bit more detail in coming videos, and just keep this as my opener if it looks alright when I get home and have a look at it. I did one before this and I didn't know that the camera was on slow-mo. So I did this big walk and got back to the car, and I was heading home and I got signs from my ISL saying, "What are you doing? Something wrong?" So I drove back down and then got positive vibes, and then I looked at the videos I made and realised they were all in slow-mo and that I just wasted, well, I didn't waste it because I learned something, but yeah, I just done it all, so I deleted them all and thought it'd come out on the second try. So this is the second try. And God, I just can't, it's just so nice to be back down the beach again. I haven't walked along the beach for years, like literally. I mean, I've been on the beach once or twice briefly, flying a kite and stuff, but it's just so good to get back down here and start talking about all the stuff I've learned and having such a cool place to do it all in. So you'll probably see a bit of this beach and other beaches that I really love. I'll do a lot of my videos on the beach because I love it, and I know of many great beaches that I used to surf at all my life that I'll use as my walking and backdrop canvas. So yeah, anyway, hope to see you checking out my other videos if you're watching this one when I start making them, and thanks for listening, and yeah, I'm open to listen to anyone else. So when I get some things sorted out and the channel made up and all that, I'll have an email address on there, which I'd love to hear people's emails and input and output and some of the stories and things, and you know, maybe even meet some people interested in the same things I'm interested in, because there's not that many. But yeah, anyway, peace out, and we'll I don't mean that as demon horns either, I meant that as real peace, and catch you on the next one. Love yous all. Catch you later. A little bit of a set coming through over there. Big chemtrail up there. So beautiful. Ta-ta! Hello again. Don't know how the exposure is on this, but anyway, I'll see how it goes. Thought I'd make a quick one on the way back from my last video. Had a long way to walk, but I might as well do something. I thought I might elaborate on the bread I eat, and just give you a heads up. Look out for the video when I finish, when I eventually make that and stick it on about the bread. I used to eat a lot of crap, all the basic supermarket food stuffs and fruits and veggies and all that. And then I went to organic, and now I just eat organic grains. But the main recipe I use is out of the book of Ezekiel bread, and I don't sprout my grains or anything like that. Hopefully this camera's alright with the sun beaming down into it, I don't know. Anyway, so I just buy them and grind them fresh, you know, as I'm making it. I never grind early because it's not good for you. Apparently the flour's no good for you or something. So I always grind fresh and make straight away. And I use beans, any beans except soybeans. Do not use soybeans, they're just poison. The only way you can eat a soybean is if you ferment it properly, which kills the poison in it. That's why, you know, I don't know, Japanese or whatever ferment it the way they do, because it gets rid of the poison that's in soybean. And these days, most soybeans are all genetically modified, and even if they're not, they just grind them fresh and chuck it in everything. You look at your supermarket food, and 90% of it's got soy product in it. None of it's been fermented. It's just been ground and thrown in, and it's poison. It's not good for you. So I had dreams about all that. I was eating, because when I went off meat, I was eating, making tofu, eating tofu and all that stuff, and drinking soy milk, and my dreams are like, keep telling me to drop it. So I would do research on it and realise that, oh my God, it's no good for me. And so I'd always have these dreams and then do the research on it and realise that my dreams are, looking after me. And so with the bread, it's got millet, beans, any beans, not soybeans, any other beans, lentils, any lentils, doesn't matter, barley, wheat, spelt, there's one missing, barley, spelt, beans, lentils, wheat. What's the other one? I've been it for years, I can't even remember what they all are. Spelt, barley, wheat, millet, beans, lentils. Yeah, and I put a little bit of psyllium husk in and some brown flax seed as well. And that's all I use. And distilled water. I don't put salt. It's kind of salty anyway, like, you don't need salt. I've given it to some other people and they're like, oh, it's kind of salty. And I'm like, yeah, well, it hasn't got any in it. So, and salt's debatable too. I think I eat a bit of salt. I only eat Tasmanian sea salt sort of stuff and good sea salt, but I eat popcorn a bit. I just put it on my popcorn, but otherwise I don't eat any salt. And I think the grains and everything got enough in it. And God tells Ezekiel to just eat that for, I don't know, a number of years or something. And so I just adopted that and just started eating that. And that's all I eat now with the distilled water. So it's just an easy, cheap way of eating super healthy, like super healthy. And, I work physically every day. Last year and the year before I was doing 60 hours a week, like physical work every day. So it's not as if I'm skinny, but my muscles are fairly toned and all that, and I never have any problems with joint pain, or now and again I do when I'm doing something I shouldn't, and I think my body's telling me, say I might get up and I start playing guitar and my ankle starts hurting, and then I just look it up in the book and it says, oh, you could feel like you're chained to your job or relationship or something like that. And at the time, I am feeling like I'm chained to my job or my relationship or something like that. So I just because, say, for example, that time that happened, I was working the 60 hours and I did feel like I was doing too much. So I cut back, and when I realised I'm just gonna, it was that morning pretty much, I realised I was feeling that way. My ankle was fine. So it's so much to do with our sicknesses and ailments and pains and things. It's got so much to do with what's going on in our life. But yeah, anyway, back to the bread. I just do a sourdough. So when you make a sourdough starter, which you need, I just got those 6 grains, ground up 30 mils of each, and put them in a cup and put the same amount of water, like weighed them, put the same amount of water and mixed it up, and put it in a warm spot. I've got this heat sleeve that you put around pots. They're only 20 bucks because it's cold in Victoria a lot, and you just put it around the jar, turn it on, and it's just foolproof. It just works so well for your starter. So you put it on, you do that, and then scrape some out and repeat it for like 6 days. Every day just scrape most of it out, leave, you know, say there's, I don't know, 50 ml in the jar or 60 ml in the jar, leave 10 ml and then put your other 60 back in, you know, your new ground 60 back in it in your water, stir it all up, sit it in your warmer, let it do its thing for 12 hours. Then that night, or if that's in the morning, then that night do that again. Then in the morning do it again, so scrape it out, leave 10 ml, put another fresh grind in. Fresh ground every time's good. And your distilled water, do that 7 times or something, and then your starter will be kind of doing it, and you can tell because it expands up and it gets all bubbly and stuff. And then after that, this is just a quick rundown, I'll do a video on it. And then after that you get your grains, and I just use half a cup of each grain and bean and lentil, so it ends up 3 cups of grains and beans and that. And I put in just under a cup of flaxseed, and I put in just under a cup of psyllium husk, and then 2 cups of water into that, distilled water, in big fat brackets, distilled water, and mix it all up, make a dough, and make it into a ball. And I've also got a big heat mat that you put plants and that on as well. And then I put a cake rack on that and make my dough in. You don't have to knead it or anything. You just mix it so it's consistent, and all the flour's gone and it's all a nice consistent dough. You don't even have to touch it, you can do it with a spatula. And then get it into a nice ball, put a little bit of water on it and make it all smooth and nice. And then sit it in the bowl and put a lid on it. I just put a plate on the bowl and put a tea towel over it and sit it on the heat. The reason I put a cake rack under it is because otherwise the bottom can sort of cook. So sit it on there for half an hour, and then take it off and give it a bit of a knead, like not much, just, I don't know, a couple of minutes. Just fold it over and press it down, fold it, press it, fold and press it, and then make a nice ball out of it, sprinkle a little bit of water over it. And if you want seeds on the outside, which are kind of cool, I put a bit of few sesame seeds and sunflower and pepitas on them. Then you put all them on it, tap them all in and roll the ball around, and it's just a seed ball then, or loaf, or whatever way you're going to cook it. And then shit, chemtrails are in action. Yeah, and then you, another noisy plane, it's an old fighter, and then you put it back in, leave it in the bowl. I put it into, you can put it in the bowl if you're just going to freeform it, but I put it into a bread tin. And put a tin over the top of it, and then put it back on the heat for 12 hours, Or if it's during the day, I'll just go to work and leave it there and come home and then I cook it. Or if it's in the afternoon, I just go to bed and wake up in the morning and then cook it. And then when you get up, it's puffed up, probably double, and chuck a couple of slits in it if you want. And then just throw it into a hot oven, like the hottest it goes, I don't know, 250 or whatever it is, and leave it in there for an hour. I normally put it in with the cover on it for half an hour and then take the cover off it, because I just got a baking tin and I leave on top of the bread tin. And then now comes your bread, and then I don't normally cut into it for an hour or more. And when it's fresh, it's so good, but it's really good toasted. And it lasts for ages. You just wrap it up in a tea towel. Don't put it in a plastic container or anything, because it's alive. It's alive. And it'll just sweat and just go disgusting. So I just wrap it up in a tea towel, and it seems to last a couple of weeks. I don't know, I always eat it before anything goes wrong with it, but and I make rye and other breads sometimes too to have with it, just to break the monotony of the same bread all the time. And so I make a whole rye, like just rye flour. That's pretty yum. It's just a different consistency, and I don't have anything on it. I just like put it on a plate and pour olive oil on it. I eat a lot of olive oil, and organic olive oil only. And yeah, so the whole bread thing, it's just a healthy, easy way to eat if you can. It takes a while to get there, but some people might already have a pretty simple diet that might be easy for them, but it took me years and years. Like, I lived on the Gold Coast with my son, and at one stage I worked at this accommodation building. I was like a body corporate dude. We'd done all the cleaning and stuff there, and I lived there, and we could eat anything for free from anywhere, like all the pizza shops and everything. Like, we could have it for free, because they get every time someone orders from the building, they get points, and they had like a stack of points, and they said to us, you just eat whatever you want. So we just ordered anything, and we could order anything. We just ate so much junk a lot of the time. And then when I had to come back to Victoria, didn't have to cook for my son anymore, and I started going off meat. So I went off red meat, and then I just ate chicken and fish, and then I went off chicken, and then I just ate fish, and then I went off fish and just ate veggies and fruit and stuff. And then, sort of not really cooked stuff. I just had, stir fries and stuff like that. I still ate heaps of junk though. Like, at one stage I was just eating so much fruit. It was just all sugar, thinking I'm doing the right thing. But anyway, I was going down the right path. And then I started getting into the grains thing, and then I slowly got off all that fruit and veg and just started eating grains and stuff. And best thing I ever done. And yeah, so now I'm pretty solid. I haven't had too many binges lately or anything. I haven't had one for maybe a few months now. Every now and again I'd eat a pie, like a vegetable pie or sauce or something like that. And I always suffered after it too. There'd always be something. Like, I'd get like some spot on my face or something after eating it. And but now I'm getting pretty solid with that. I haven't put on 20 kilos. That's just crazy. Oh man, that was crazy, literally. But anyway, I learned from it. And there's been some other crazy things that's happened in my life that I've learned from too, and opened my eyes up to places I never would have gone unless I'd been there. And you know, I think it's all right to do, you know, to go to some crazy places. And like at one stage going back, I got depressed, and actually after my mum died. I don't know if that triggered anything, or I don't know. But anyway, I got depressed really bad, and I stopped work and didn't work for 6 months, and I hadn't watched telly for years. So I still had a telly, but I hadn't watched it. And this is probably 8 years ago or more. And I got that depressed. I didn't go out. All I did was went out for my essential food, and I was eating pretty good then. You know, just grains and maybe a banana here and there, and a bit of junk now and again. But I didn't have any money to buy anything. And I watched telly for 6 months straight, and it hadn't changed a bit. All the same old crap, a few new living shows and stuff, but it's just all the same ads and all the same crap and all that. And then I got to the stage I just didn't want to work. I didn't want to work, and I realised that depression is kind of like a lazy man's gig or something. And then it got to the stage where I had, when you can't pay your bills, you ring, and your mortgage and your car loan and all those things I had, you ring them up and you get 3 months. So I'd rung them up, and my 3 months was counting down before they actually took everything off me. And I got to the last week, and well, maybe about the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to be a bum out on the street, and I'm stressing out and everything, and I just couldn't be bothered getting up and going to work or doing anything. So I was asking God, and I knew what I had to do, but I couldn't be bothered. So anyway, I knew I had to do it. So I got off my ass and I made some flyers for cleaning, because that's, you know, I went for a couple of jobs which just didn't work. I didn't get any of them. So I made flyers, and I hadn't even gone walking for 6 months. I just sat inside, and I only showered every couple of days, and I was really bad. And I typed up these leaflets and sent them, and I walked. I couldn't believe I could do it. I walked around the neighbourhood, spiralled out from my place, so I didn't have to travel far, and spread them out. And I think I spread like, I don't know, a couple of thousand flyers. And I walked both days for like 6 to 8 hours both days. And I couldn't believe I could still do it after not doing anything for all that time. And anyway, work came in pretty quick, and before I knew it, I was working 40 hours a week, cleaning and gardening and whatever anyone wanted me to do. I didn't care. I just needed the money to, you know, stop my house from getting taken off from me and that. And I was still depressed, and it was still hard to get up and do, but I did it. And then over time I got better customers and better work and blah 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 blah. And now, you know, I mean, I've still got a mortgage and still got a car loan because I like cars, and anyway, it helps with, you know, boosts my, it's kind of like the carrot dangling, keeps me working and stuff. And but yeah, I'm not depressed anymore. My dreams have helped me with all that, and there's no way I ever want to go back to that depression that I did have. So I'm kind of glad I did do that, and it made me realise kind of what depression really is, and that you don't need doctors and shit to get out of it with drugs and all that crap. You just need to get off your ass and do something, and make your own way instead of relying on everyone else to make it for you. And that's all there is to it. It's got to, you know, some people could do with a hand, I suppose, and maybe there's good people that can help with that. But for me, I just did it, you know, by myself, and you know, in my heart I knew I had to, and now I'm just cruising. And you know, I still fight. It's like an ongoing battle. I'm always fighting against, you know, a bit of some sort of depression or something, but on the whole, I always feel like everything's going to be okay. And you know, I did feel like killing myself at one stage and all that sort of stuff, and but you know, I won't go there anymore. All my dreams are saying, you know, you can't kill yourself. It's not one of those things you're really allowed to do. So I didn't. I couldn't anyway. I just couldn't do it. I rehearsed a couple of times, but I couldn't do it. And yeah. So anyway, I'm almost kind of back to my car, and probably I was going to talk about bread, but I started talking about a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's okay too. Yeah, so we'll see you later for now, and look out for some of my other videos. I'll probably do, like when I do the bread ones, I'll do them in my kitchen and stuff. I won't be out here doing it, although I never done a wood fire one. Oh man, that'd be cool. Just throw it in the fire, or put it in a camp oven or something like that. Might do a video like that one day. Might start doing a bit of camping or something. Now I'm doing videos. I used to always throw the swag in the car and go somewhere and just surf and sleep in a swag somewhere or in the back of the car. I haven't done any of that stuff for years and years. So now I've just been a hermit for all them years, and I have a couple of friends, work related type ones, but nothing really outside that. I've just been so hermitized lately, well, for probably pretty much 30 years of well, I can't say 30, I have to say 20 or 15 at least. I've been really secluded, and apart from work, not having friends and stuff, and just doing my own thing, and I'll continue that. But if doing these videos brings a few people my way that see things the way I do, that'd be cool, because iron sharpens iron, and I'm open to listening and learning all the time, and yeah, so I'm not afraid of learning new things from new people, as long as they sort of seem true to me, even though some haven't, and I've blown them off at times. I'll always look into it and research it, and then form an opinion on it by my research and personal experience, because everything I talk to on my videos is going to be through personal experience, not anything anybody else has told me or any book has told me, although the Bible has told me a few things. Just going to spin that around for a minute. Look at them ducks. What's that bunch of ducks that were here earlier? Tide's coming in. Looks beautiful. Look at that. Apart from that big ass chemical cloud up there. Phillip Island over there. And the Nobbies, Seal Rock, little one right out there. And we have these sea-bearing ducks riding the waves. They like that seaweed or something that's in it. A few little waves out at Honeysuckle. Might be a nice little swell here at high tide. It's just such a beautiful place. I love this joint. You wonder why there's not more people here. It's close to everything. I mean, there's millions of people who live around here. Anyway. Yeah, so sorry, I'll just get this thing back on. What was I talking about? I don't know. Can't remember now. Got distracted by the ducks and the scenery. So yeah, so keep tuned and hopefully I'll get a bit better at making videos, because like I said, this is my first one ever of this nature. It's a new little camera thing that I got, and I got to get some software and start a YouTube channel, and you know, eventually might do some lives and have chat and stuff like that. I don't know, just see where it goes. But yeah, just want to share the knowledge. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, nothing I talk about is through what I've heard from someone else or what I've read in books, except for the Bible, like I was saying, has given me inspiration in, especially with the dreams and my sicknesses, and you know, looking into different things and realising that you know, I think it's okay to go into dark places for a time to experience what they're about, to fulfill maybe desires and stuff, and then to have a realization that maybe it's not really what I wanted, and so-called repenting, and then moving out of that dark room and have a break, and then move into another. I mean, I still got some questionable things that I do, and I'm working through them, but at this stage I feel like it's okay, and I'm kind of being guided through the dark places. Sorry, the sun's been a bit of a crap. Yeah, at times I feel like, well, all the time I feel like I'm guided through these dark rooms and spaces and places, and being able to experience them without having any, you know, real bad repercussions coming through the other side. And there's one in particular which I might talk about at some stage, but I've had all my life from a little kid that I might talk about, or even put in videos, but that's pretty personal. But I'll probably get there one day, because I know so many other people have had the same problem and got the same problem, and have issues with that problem in others, which causes a whole lot of stuff and strife. And if you just, for me, I've just ended up embracing it for a while and walking in it wholly, instead of like, well, not totally wholly, but, and there is a point of privacy you have to keep with these sorts of things, but yeah, it's just all interesting stuff. Probably talk about one day, because when I figure it out totally, I'll make a video on it, but I haven't, after all these years, I haven't totally figured it out yet, and so I don't really want to go assuming crap and making videos about it, whereas all the things I'm going to make videos about first up are stuff that I've worked out and things that I know for sure through my own experiences and whatnot. And yeah, so just enjoying this awesome weather and this beautiful day, except for that big ugly chemical cloud up there. But everywhere else is beautiful. Look at that sky. Yeehaw, yeehaw. Yeah. Just playing with the camera. It's like my first vid, so I just want to play around and stuff and see what it turns out like. But I want to post it because I've said a lot in it, even though if it looks crappy and jolty, because I'm just walking around jolting it all over the place and having the sun in it and all that. Maybe people will learn from that as well. Like, I can sort of have a bit of a chat about the gear I'm using and stuff. And I bought one of those Pocket Osmo 3s. This is the first time I've really used it. So I did a little bit of mucking around on the kitchen shot. Morning! And yeah, I'm doing the breads and stuff, but yeah, only a little bit. I've done one or two quick clips, but I've got some stuff to learn there, so I won't put them up, but I'll probably put this one up, just for the hell of it, and just to get the channel started. Oh, I've got to cross this river again. Wet boots? Nah, should be right. Made it. Yeah. So almost back at the car. So nice. Just so good to be back down here again and walking these beaches, which I'll take you with me on all my other walks and crap on about stuff. I don't know, see what happens. But anyway, I'll leave it there and look out for my bread videos, and well, that's a bit too glary for me, and whatever other videos are. The dreams. I'll probably do the dreams ones first, but I'll have to work out how to make a video and put all the texts in and all that sort of stuff, so it'll probably be a little while, but I'm going to clip this one up and fart around with it a little bit, but I'll probably keep it pretty raw, just so when I look back on stuff it's there and it's like, oh, there's my first video, or blah 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 blah. But yeah, anyway, I think I've covered the three main topics I want to talk about in my videos, and that's dreams, health, and how to take care of your own health, and be independent of poison food, poison remedies, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, and making bread, and the benefits of all of that, and distilled water and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be my 3 main points, with a few stories about what's on the other side through spiritual journeys and all this stuff I used to do. I'll probably throw a few stories like that in, which is just mind-blowing stuff. Like, I couldn't make this stuff up. It just, unless it happened to me, I would not believe it. But yeah, I've had tons of different crazy supernatural experiences and things. Yeah, that just make me realise that, you know, something's there that knows what's happening before it happens. Something there looking after you. Something there is trying to tell you the right way to go and what to do. Yeah, we're not alone, even though we feel alone. Like, I'm such a loner, but I'm not lonely because I'm happy with my own company, and I feel like I have a friend in myself that I can rely on more than anybody else in the world, and that's important. Like, when you have that, you know, you're fine, because you don't have to worry about anyone else or you know, looking after you, or you know, you don't have to, you know, you're independent of all of that. I mean, maybe not totally, because you still need to listen to others and stuff and learn from others and all that as well, but there's a balance. And it's just nice to know that, because I know people with, you know, millions of friends, so-called friends, but they're lonely as hell, and they admit it. They go, well, I've got all these friends, but I know I'm alone and I'm lonely, and that's how it is, because we're ultimately alone, and you have to be okay with that, to be happy and content. So anyway, I'm back in the car now, so I'll see ya when I see ya, and thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.